Hello, everyone. My name is Mike, and this is Matrix to Paradise. I'm still on my way to Illinois to drop off this load that I've gotten from Miami, Arizona, from the mines, the copper mine. Got a bunch of rolls of copper back there, and I'm taking it to I think it's a cable place. They're going to make copper cable out of it. Either copper cable, copper wire, that kind of thing. I think that's what it's going to. But anyway, it's a place in Illinois, in southern Illinois, close to Carbondale, Illinois. So I'm going to drive over there. This is like I said, this is a great load. This is like 1,500, or after it's all said and done, I'll have 1,600 some miles out of this. So I'm hoping they set me up with another good one tomorrow. Hopefully coming back west and not going out east. But we'll see what happens. Anyway, I'm here stopped in a place called Rolla, Missouri. Rolla, Missouri, just a little small spot between Springfield, which is in the southwest part of the state, and St. Louis on the road called 44, Interstate 44. So I'm like halfway in the middle. I'm right in the middle of Missouri, between St. Louis and Springfield. And I think this is a college town. I think the University of Missouri, has a big school here. So I know I know it's a college town. I know that. I've heard it before. But anyway, it's not that big. It's got a decent Love's here. It's not too bad. I'm here at the Love's, obviously, because I'm always here at the Love's. And there's a thing out there, a big water tower thingy. I don't know if that's water or not, but it says Rolla on it. I don't know if you can read it from this, but it does. Well, not much to see, but this is Missouri, Rolla, Missouri. Anyhow, I was talking to somebody at the truck stop the other day. I stopped in there and got some food and some drink, and was talking with one of the clerks in there, and I was just making small talk with her and just joking around with her, and she said, well, what do you? I told her I was getting ready to retire here in about a year, and and she said, really? What are you going to do? I said, I'm moving overseas, and she's like, really? And I said, yeah, I'm going to move over to Cambodia to start off with, and she's like, oh my Lord, Cambodia? Why? Blah blah blah. Are you moving there permanently? I said, well, sort of, kind of. I said, I'm going to move there to slow travel and stop there, explore that whole country more than I could the last time I was there, and then move to a different country and do all that, She's like, well, what countries do you want to move to, going to want to check out? And I just told her a list of a bunch of countries, which I didn't limit it to Southeast Asia. I didn't, I told her most of Southeast Asia, the entire continent pretty much of South America, except for a few places there. Eastern Europe, Southern Europe, a bunch of parts of Africa. There's all kinds of places. I told her, I said, there's tons of places to go see in the world. And she was like, wow, you're gonna become, an immigrant. And I said, well, no, not an immigrant, really. I told her, I said, well, an immigrant, and I had to explain to her, I said, no, I'm going to become an expat, really. She's like, expat, what is that? And I said, well, expat is short for expatriate. And she's like, okay, well, what's that mean? So I said, okay, here we go. I said, if you go, say you fly out, I said, what countries do you like? And she goes, well, I like Europe and blah, blah, because most girls like Europe. She goes, I said, okay, say you flew off to France to go visit, right? You go over there and you spend 3 weeks in France visiting Paris and wherever, Cannes and all the other places. And you just spend 3 weeks there. That means you're just a visitor. You're just a traveler. You're just a tourist. You're just basically a tourist. I said, now, if you move to France, you say, you know what, I'm sick of living here in, I think it was in Texas. I'm sick of living here in Texas, and I just really want to move to France permanently. I say, well, okay, you could either be one of two things. You could be an expat, which is short for expatriate, or you could be an immigrant, okay, in France. I said, an immigrant is somebody who moves to France or any other country from their original country. In her case, I would say in France. And lives there permanently and tries to become a citizen there, or, or close enough to it. They're making it that their permanent home. With the hopes of becoming a citizen sooner or later. That's what you want to become, part of that culture and that country, and that's what immigrants are. And you end up raising your family there, and your whole legacy stays there. Now, if you want to be an expat, that means you just go to live there. You're not trying to become a citizen. Fly. You're not trying to become a citizen. You are just living in this country, like whatever country. Say you move to France, and I was telling her this. You move to France, but you don't try to become a citizen. You just re-up your permanent visa, or your residence visa. You just keep renewing it for however long it takes. And a lot of countries will have visas that allow you to retire there. So say you go to the Philippines is a big one on this. So a lot of guys move to the Philippines. They find Filipino wives, and they're older or whatever, and they stay there. Well, most of them don't try to become citizens necessarily. I mean, they could, I suppose, they could do that. You think bureaucracy is bad here, it's bad in the Philippines, but they could become citizens there, especially if they marry a Filipina. But they most of the time they just go there and just get a retirement visa, which is a visa that allows you to live there permanently as a retiree. So, and the reason the countries do that is because they know these guys are coming over there and they're bringing money. They're not taking anything from the country that they're living in. They're not taking anything from that country. They are just bringing money. So you come with a retirement and savings and everything else. They know that you're going to add to the local economy. So, and you're not going to detract, take any jobs from them. So, so that will give you, and you're a certain age and you bring a certain amount of money, they will, or you bring in a certain amount of money each month, and you can prove it. They'll give you a permanent residence visa there, and a lot of countries do this. Cambodia too. You make enough money in your retirement and all that, they'll let you stay there because you're helping the economy by spending money. So there's no reason why they wouldn't want to have you there. And you're not detracting. You're not taking anything away from them. You're not taking a job from a Cambodian or a Filipino or wherever you go. You're retired. So a lot of expats do that. A lot of people do that, and those are called expatriates. Short is expat. And most people, I think, are expats. I mean, to become a citizen of a country, have like dual citizenship. Most of that stuff is usually done for people who are doing it for financial purposes. Say they have a lot of money and they want to invest in another country as a safeguard, against taxes in their own country or whatever. And, they don't want their money taxed as soon as they bring it back to the United States, or double taxed, whatever. But anyway, there's all kinds of financial reasons why people do that, but those people are usually well off in the first place. Another reason is because, let's say somebody wants to go back to their ancestral country. And a lot of countries will have right of return, so you'll be able to get a dual citizenship, like say in Israel. If you're Jewish, and you can prove it, you can get dual citizenship in Israel. A lot of countries will do that. I think the Dutch do that too. If you're Dutch, you can go back there. If you're American and you have Dutch descent, you can go back there and become, a Dutch citizen. What else? And I say the Dutch too. I was born in the Netherlands. My father was there in 1968 earlier than that. He got over there in 67. My mom got over there in 67 as well. But I was born in January of 68. So he was over there because the Russians had invaded Czechoslovakia. Czechoslovakians were uprising against communism, and the Russians sent in tanks and stuff and troops in there to quell that because they didn't want to lose their satellite country. So the Western people, this is during the height of the Cold War, and the Western powers thought that was a prelude to the Russians trying to run into Germany and take over, whatever, which never happened. But my dad was over there for that reason. He was in the service. So my mom came over there, and she was pregnant at the time, and she came over there, and I happened to be born in the Netherlands. And I was born in a Dutch hospital, and I have two birth certificates. One is from the Netherlands, and one is from the State Department. Now, I think I had the choice to pick to become a Dutch citizen if I wanted to when I was 18. But of course, I'm not going to do that. I didn't know if I could go back there later with my birth certificate and say, hey, can I get, my Dutch citizenship, like a second citizenship. I don't know if that's possible. I don't think it is. So I don't think just because I was born there, unlike the United States, I don't think that the Dutch do that. But anyway, it doesn't matter. But anyway, a lot of people, for the right of return, Italians that are living here, I think Italy does that. They allow people to come back if they have Italian descent. I believe that's the case too. There's a bunch of different countries that do that. They'll allow you to come back if you can prove that you're of that country's, ethnic origin. So there's a lot of that for citizenship. And a lot of people do citizenship that way. They either come back and they get dual citizenship, and then they are able to maneuver between the two countries very easily. And you can get a passport from both countries too. So, I mean, it's a good idea if you can to get dual citizenship someplace. It's always a backup in case, you get into any kind of binds in the world, because you never know. The United States is not liked by a lot of countries and a lot of people. So, because we're the number one superpower in the world, so that obviously we're going to have enemies. And so it'd be nice to have a second passport. Then you could just say, hey, no, I'm Cambodian. That'd be great. But it takes, like I said, it takes money to get a passport, and takes time and all that. And a lot of times to get a passport, you have to invest money, a certain amount of money, and you can't withdraw it for so many years, and all kinds of stuff. It's just, there's a lot of, you have to, every country is different, and the laws change all the time in every different country. So you have to check that out. But the differences are, one is a tourist, which you're just a temporary, person going and visiting a country and seeing the sights and then going home. The next one is an immigrant who moves to a country permanently and tries to become a citizen and is going to stay there to be a permanent resident forever, and raise their family there. An expat is usually word for, it's a short word for expatriate, and usually expats are older people who, older guys, mostly guys, but also women too. Women move overseas too, who move overseas and don't necessarily try to become citizens, and they just keep renewing their visa, or they go there on a retirement visa. So those are expatriates. Those are expats. And I plan on becoming an expat. I'm not, I'm not necessarily looking for a second passport. If an opportunity arises somewhere that would make it possible for me to do that, or if I happen to find, the ultimate love of my life, and we're to get remarried, which I don't ever see happening again. But I mean, I never say never because of the man upstairs. So if that were to happen, then absolutely, I certainly wouldn't want to bring them back to the United States as it is now. The culture here is dying, but and there's so much acrimony here. I don't know if I'd really want that for a future family and all that. But I love my country, don't get me wrong, but there's just a lot of stuff going on right now that I don't think I'd want to bring a foreign wife here if I ever wanted to get one, which I don't plan on getting one, trust me. At least not a wife. But that's what I plan on becoming, as an expat. And so I explained to this girl what they were, all three were, and she was happy that I gave her the information. I said, you should try going to visit and go explore. And she says, I've always wanted to. I was like, you know what? All it takes is a plane ticket, and, plane ticket and a little bit of planning and, a little bit of money. Just save it up and go. Take your, save up your cash and go and see something. And then you'll know if you like traveling, you like seeing other parts of the world, you like to go explore and see some sights and, just see something different. I said, nothing wrong with Texas and the United States, but there's a whole other world out there. So, so she was happy with that. But anyway, that's all I had for today. I thought I'd explain the differences between tourists, immigrants, and expats. And I'll come back tomorrow with another video, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. If you like the video, please hit the like button. If you hit the like button, certainly hit the subscribe button, because both those things really help me out. Share the videos with anybody who likes this content. Travel, trucking, living overseas, any of that kind of thing. Slow travel, any of that kind of stuff. If they like that stuff, then throw my channel to them. I appreciate it. Thank you. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye now.